Hey guys, Nick here. Welcome to the Omniverse of Nick and part 13 to What If Frieza Turned Good. Before we get into today's episode, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the Omniverse, and further acknowledge and support the future of the Omniverse by checking out the Discord, Patreon, and Google Docs on the homepage, as well as commenting future requests and expectations for this year in the comments section. Let's get into it. So we ended off last time with the Battle of Gods arc concluding, and a certain unexpected arc taking Resurrection F's place. Since Frieza's good and alive here, Resurrection Cooler. And how does this happen? Out of pure, unadulterated circumstance and dumb luck. Nyes, who had been homogenized with Cooler and the entire Cooler force, managed to survive all these years after being unhomogenized, after all of us thinking, and the Z Fighters thinking, he was killed by Piccolo, when in actuality, they were actually around the same power in this timeline. So, Nyes was just lucky, extremely. And I feel that he would have either shrunk his head in a way to make it like he was alive, or just would have survived out of dumb luck. All these years clinging to life, he has finally made himself known, and plans to get the Dragon Balls to resurrect his master and get the revenge the Cooler Force deserves. So, with a very low power level, he gathers his bearings and prepares to look for the Dragon Balls, which Cooler, Bobbity, all the forces, and because of Namek still happening, would still know about. He finds Pilaf's gang, and unlike Sorbet and Tagoma, Nyes has a really low power here. So even though I've touched upon this, and it's very likely that this shouldn't even happen in the first place, Nyes has a lower power than even Sorbet. So while Kami is young and his perception of the Earth is way more keen and aware, it still would not be enough for a very low power Nyes. So he gets to do this with the Pilaf gang without any kind of notice. Piccolo sensed bad energy, and Sorbet and Taguma's energies were low. But with Nyes's, it's way lower because he's been clinging to life all these years and he's yet to be healed. So he's still very weak. He's weaker than even. He's around like Radis or Nappa power, or at least Sorbet's, yet a bit lower. Pretty much like that. So once they gather the Dragon Balls, Nyes tells the Pilaf gang to summon the dragon. And Shenron, we're going to go with the Dragon Ball Super, not the movie continuity, for the three wishes, because that's kind of crucial here. Nyes wishes for Wish 1 to be brought back to his full health. So, because obviously he's still clinging to life, and it's lucky that he's even still alive. So, that's a very important first wish. Second wish, bring back Lord Cooler. And unlike Frieza, who was cut to pieces and obliterated, Cooler was just plain obliterated, but he wasn't cut to pieces, so he can actually be resurrected here. So, Cooler is resurrected, and Nyes informs Cooler of everything, of his survival, very, 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 very lucky survival, and that he brought him back so that the Cooler Force can get their revenge. And he was just about to wish for a third wish with King Cold or something like that to really boost their chances to get revenge. But Cooler says they have no need of his father. He plans to teach his brother and the Sand a lesson, but he plans to do it alone. And that Nyes has served his purpose well. And Nyes is worried that this might somehow lead to him dying, but then laughs and smiles to what the wish that Cooler makes as the last wish really is. No, the Pilaf gang doesn't get a wish here. Cooler wishes for the entire Cooler Force and every Frieza Force member that died before that to be brought back. No, this does not include King Cold. because why would Cooler want King Cold back? He was banished from the Frost Tyrant race after Frieza became ruler, and he went on his own. That's how, at least, the small canonical and, non-canon features point towards. But all of the Cooler soldiers that died, plus all of Frieza's men that died on Namek, meaning Kui, Dodoria, Zarbon, the Ginyu Force, and Shisami, Tagama, and Sorbet, and all of them, are brought back to life. Ginyu would actually get his body back, because whether he would find his body as a frog somehow surviving what Supreme Kai did, because Supreme Kai wouldn't know it's Captain Ginyu. He just protected Goten and Trunks from a potential threat. So, yeah, and if I included Ginyu there, it would have been way too freaking wonky. So, because he wasn't the main focal point. But Ginyu, I feel he would get his body back, depending on Cooler's wording or just pure circumstance. We're going to give Ginyu his body back. And Salza and Dore are also brought back. But since Nyes has pretty much showed he's the second in command of the Cooler Force and did all this, I'm going to be showing even more why Salza and Dore are way ranked down now in terms of Nyes. Kami notices this, but it's too late. Jocko comes to Earth and warns Kami and Bulma and everybody of Cooler's army, which, if it wasn't plainly obvious, makes Resurrection F Frieza's look like a joke. Cooler's training is far more extensive because he's much smarter, hard-driven, and much more determined than Frieza was in Resurrection F. He not only gets his fifth form to a even bigger level than he ever did, but he uses Frieza's golden power in his fifth form. So we're not getting no, fourth form golden cooler. No, he maximizes this through his fifth form. If Super Dragon Ball Heroes could do it, I could do it. So yeah, I feel it's only right to give him the true manifestation of the golden form. And his training partner is Nyes, and he makes him the second in command to the Cooler Force, because he survived all of this to get this far and resurrect him, and the army. He deserves this. And soon enough, they make their way towards Earth to get revenge. Who goes to fight the army, you might ask? Well, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, Roshi, Piccolo, all of Bardock's crew, Fasha, Shugesh, Borgos, and Tora, and Gine, I feel, would finally step up at this point, since it's Cooler and Frieza's army. At this point, she wouldn't have done any fighting at all since she was resurrected. But at this point, I feel that she would be up to the challenge at least a little, and who knows, Bardock might have trained her a little bit or something, even though he's off on Beerus' world, or at least, Bardock's men or something like that. Plus, they wouldn't be around too much because they're not ready for god level training. They'd just be there to spar with Bardock from time to time, but would mainly be on Earth, and would most likely train with Gine, which at this point she would step up. Boo was asleep here, and was asleep for, the vast majority of the series in Dragon Ball Super. But with Shugesh and Borgos here, they're not going to take no for an answer. And if chocolate, sweets, and all that didn't work for Boo, Shugesh and Borgos would literally beat the living tar out of Boo and force him to wake up. Which then Hercule or somebody else, or, someone else would quell him down with some sweets or something to stop him from killing Shugesh and Borgos. So Boo is on the team as well. And Cooler's army lands. And Cooler and his hover pod would destroy a city just like Frieza, maybe even beyond, because he would show much more power and resolve than Frieza, and would survey the group that gets on the scene. Piccolo can't believe it. The Dragon Balls. Him and Kami, since they're split, they would have the same thought. The Dragon Balls, something had to have been up, and they don't even know how even one soldier managed to survive. And Cooler just smiles and says that that wizard body might not have been the root of my revenge to help me get it done, but he at least ensured that my now second in command, Knies, is now proof that you should have made sure to double tap on our demises, because now you won't get a second chance. And whether my brother or the Saiyans want to show up, they'll be showing up late to a bloodbath. And Sorbet tells the army to attack, and all of the army launches forward. Gine, I feel, would have Super Saiyan at this point, especially with trained up Bardock soldiers and her time in the underworld. Yeah, she would have Super Saiyan and would fight off the soldiers with everyone else in Super Saiyan. And Boo would just be having the time of his life, turning people into candy and chocolate and just beating them down. There is no absolute way that Boo wouldn't outclass everybody here, and is likely why he wasn't in the original arc in the first place. So yeah, overall, all the soldiers are dealt with. And then we get to Zarbon, Dodoria, and Kui. Tora tells his other men to attack, but leave Dodoria for last. Kui and Zarbon are dealt with instantly, but Dodoria is left for last. But then Dodoria starts to recognize Tora and these Saiyans, and he can't believe it. Tora just looks at Dodoria with pure malice and tells him angrily, "Do you remember me, Dodoria?" And Dodoria at this point is shaking and quelling in fear that he's been resurrected just for this, and he now knows who these Saiyans are. And Tora says that he knows he hasn't forgotten, and Tora will never forget. The day that Dodoria mercilessly killed him and his men, the day that Frieza was destined to destroy planet Vegeta, Bardock did all he could, how him and Frieza and all of them betrayed. Tora says that while he might forgive Frieza, there is no way he will ever forgive a rogue brother and the following minions, especially Dodoria. And this time, he tells him that you will never resurrect again. You won't get the luxury we had, and I'll make sure of it personally. And he shoots a blast, his signature blast he used against the Kanasin, and kills Dodoria. The Ginyu Force then steps up to the plate. Goldo uses his paralysis, and everyone is frozen. But Piccolo powers up into his mystic form and shoots a light grenade, which kills the entire Ginyu Force right then and there, except Goldo, who's able to time freeze and get out of the way, but his friends aren't so lucky. Krillin then double taps and uses a Destructo Disc to kill Goldo. Next, Tagoma and Shisami are one-tapped pretty much by Boo. Dore and Salza are the next two. And Salza uses a scatter finger beam, or a split finger shot, whatever one you want to call it, to distract the group and fend off the oncoming finger beams. And then Dore rushes forward. But no one's deterred. Tien uses a solar flare. Basically, they're repelling the distraction and onslaught back at Dore and Salza. Tien shoots a solar flare, and Master Roshi uses a thunder shock. Dore blocks it, and Yamcha attempts to use a spirit ball, but Salza just cuts it in half and then uses a full power energy wave, but Master Roshi blocks it with his staff and his pure strength. But Salza just uses a blade, and with a single slice and then a grab by Dore, Master Roshi is held hostage. And now the group's left in a very bad spot, because now Roshi, they can't hurt him while Roshi's there. But then Dore is killed by Kami. Kami came to distract and help the the Z fighters, and this was the perfect opportunity for him to show his powers finally since bringing his youth back. And this is the perfect chance to show he's the true guardian of Earth by protecting his people, by protecting Master Roshi. And this gives everyone the chance they need. Piccolo uses a special beam cannon and kills Salza. Cooler smiles and says that these Z fighters have grown well in the time that he has been deceased, but the battle is far from over. Nyes then steps up to the plate and uses a pose, showing that he's going to show them what a true Cooler Force member looks like, and that if they think they're going to get through him as easily as Piccolo did before, think again. And this Nyes makes Tagama's training look like a joke. Nyes is very, 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 very strong here. So the Z Fighters are actually worried. Nyes uses his Bind Wave and prepares to accelerate it and use it on all the fighters. But when he fires, the beam is deflected by Goku, Vegeta, Raditz, Gohan, and Bardock and Frieza. Now I know what you're thinking, why is Raditz in the picture twice? It's because at the time of making this, I stupidly decided to put Raditz there twice. I don't know why, I just accidentally counted him for a second Saiyan. So just ignore the fact that there's two Raditzes there. But Frieza, he cannot believe it. His brother has returned, and Nyes. After hearing about this, Nyes survived? And Nyes says, looks like you're just as bad at killing your brother as you all are at killing me. Frieza shoots a death beam, but Nyes isn't going to be done in that simply and shrinks his head and sprouts back and prepares to attack all of them. But Vegeta rushes forward and uses a final Gala Cannon that he used to kill Tagoma Ginyu and Pui Pui. And Nyes is done in, because he wasn't expecting this. This would actually have been a much better idea of a death for Tagoma Ginyu, but, you know, it is what it is. He eliminated a threat, and the same would be done here, just a bit cooler. Cooler. Speaking of cooler, he smiles and says that he should have expected not only these Earthlings and the Mechians and everything to get stronger, and he certainly wasn't expecting a Majin to be on their side, but now he knows not to take them for granted. And he's going to do what his brother never could. Show that he's not playing games and go full power from the start. And he unleashes his 100% and shoulder pads and prepares to transform into his fifth form. He does, and then unsheaths his mask, or he sheaths his mask into place and gets ready to fight. And his power right now is equivalent to Resurrection F Golden Frieza in his fifth form. So that's why I said Resurrection Cooler's far more dominant, but it doesn't mean that he's going to win easily. Frieza just smiles and says that he's not the only one who got stronger, and that fifth form isn't even new anymore. Frieza transforms into his own fifth form, showing that he unlocked that ages ago. Cooler cannot believe his eyes. The form he used to outclass Frieza all their lives, Frieza unlocked! And Frieza powers with this fifth form and is able to actually go on par with Cooler. But Cooler says that while he might have unlocked he might have unlocked the form that Cooler used to dominate him all of these years. Cooler unlocked his form, except much better, and transforms into fifth form Golden Cooler. And Frieza transforms into his true golden state, and the two prepare to fight. Fifth form Cooler in his gold state gets an instant grip on Frieza's neck and prepares to attack, but Frieza blasts him off, and then the two square off in an ultimate bloody, brutal, and completely amazing golden brother fight. This would be more epic than anything you would expect to see, especially the fact that they're brothers. They're both in evolved, past evolved gold states, and they literally have the power to destroy an entire universe right now. But Cooler shows he's been holding back and transforms into true Golden Cooler. Because he's not like Frieza. There's not going to be no, lack of stamina, golden form, or anything like that. Cooler evolved that and beyond. And with the fifth form, it's way beyond. This would be like true evolved Golden Cooler or something like that. Next evolution. And this would really show that Cooler is not playing games. But Frieza smiles, showing that he's far from over as well, and that he's close to evolving to that level. But he's still more than enough to defeat him the way he's about to be, and transforms into true golden 100% Frieza. Frieza gets ready to attack, but Cooler just slices a golden death wave at him and prepares a triple golden supernova and fires all three. And Frieza, in his 100% true golden form, powers a "you must die by my hand" full power golden energy wave and combats the three golden supernovas, which combine into a single huge, humongous supernova that makes the pink one that Frieza used against Goku in their fight look like a joke. This literally could tear the planet in two if it's not combated off by Frieza for long. But Golden Cooler, in his fifth true evolved golden state, prepares to use a death storm and erupt the beam of these three combined supernovas while Frieza's combating it with his blast to just erupt it and blow up the planet. But he doesn't get the chance. Goku goes into his Super Saiyan Blue state and rushes in. But Sorbet, being alive, launches a beam from his ray gun. But Goku's not going to fall for it like his canon self, and just simply blasts his own blue attack through the beam, and this kills Sorbet within just a second. And then he goes what he was originally going to do and uses a Super Saiyan Blue Dragon Fist, which would kind of canonize Dragon Fist, if I'm being totally honest, and would be an awesome way to do it, especially from what you're about to see. It goes through Cooler, and Goku yells to Frieza, "Do it!" Kind of quoting Xenoverse, to be honest. And Frieza unleashes everything he has and excels beyond true 100% Golden Frieza to true evolved, and blasts his beam with the triple supernova, so it's kind of like Cooler's canon death here. Cooler tries to combat it, but with an impalement, his golden true evolved form flickering on and off, and the triple supernova and beam just literally putting him in a spot where he can't even defend. Eventually the beam explodes, or he would just give up, and this would obliterate him. And once that's all done, the warriors go back to Beerus' planet. Goku unlocks Blue Kaioken a bit sooner and gets pretty far with it. Vegeta is so close to Blue Evolved and a level beyond Blue, he can just taste it. Bardock has assimilated into Super Saiyan Blue and is actually able to use it and regulate its power. Raditz has gotten very on the hold with Super Saiyan God and is close to Blue. And Gohan, with his Mystic Super Saiyan Blue, is very close to a higher power, but he's not there yet. And Frieza finally unlocks the fifth form golden power-up, showing that his brother taught him once again a very valuable lesson. Power needs to be circulated any given point, because the more you power yourself, the mightier you will show yourself to be, and that no one will be a match for you, even the closest by you. So Cooler ultimately, in his death, made Frieza even stronger through his unlocked fifth form and combining of the golden form with it. So this all points to what will be the semi-final part. Champa and Vados with the Universe 6 and 7 tournament. How will the tournament go? And if it's the semi-final part, what does this mean for the potential Goku Black arc? Will it mean there's a Frieza Black and everybody dies? Will there even be a story with a stronger Trunks? And how will the Tournament of Power go for the ending of this story? Find out next time in part 14 and the semi-final part to the story.